record this. Okay, we're recording. All right, guys, welcome to tonight's call. First of all you guys that are on here should feel really special because you guys have some sort of a downline and I consider you some of my top leaders. So I wanted to create a team call where we could kind of mastermind and talk with each other about what's been working and what hasn't been working. And I just feel like if I was to do a big, massive team call, some of the stuff we're going to talk about would go way over a lot of people's heads. So this is really going to be awesome for you guys to meet my other leaders, meet each other, and kind of find out what's been working, what hasn't been working. So there's that. And first and foremost, I have to explain the incentive that I'm running this month, or yes, this month, it's November, totally crazy. And the incentive is, you guys, that, how can I explain this without sounding like a totally crazy person? But so I really want to focus on enrollments, and clearly you guys know how to do that. Hi, Camille. The camera's like frozen on Camille. This is so funny. But I really want to focus on enrollments because that is obviously your guys' bread and butter. That is what you guys know how to do. And you guys know that you can hide yourself. You can just mute yourself or mute your face. So if you don't want anyone to see you, you're taking a shower or whatever. Anyway.
Followed by the pound or hash sign.
Hi, Marley. Who's dialing in? This is
the meeting has not started. Please stay on the line or try again later.
Can someone mute themselves? Emily, is that you? Okay, wow. Sorry, guys. This is super fun. We're going to get really good at these, though. I promise. Anyways, the incentive that I'm running for this month is I'm going to be giving away an Apple Watch. And the conditions for the Apple Watch are going to be the person with the most enrollment, plus those enrollments get active. So it is a little bit of a catch, but I think it is more than possible for all of us to do anywhere between 3 and 5 new girls. And if you anywhere between 3 and 5 girls, am I hearing myself multiple times? What in the world is happening? This is so weird. Okay, everyone make sure you mute yourselves. All right, thank you. Anyways, so Apple Watch for, this is one part of the giveaway, Apple Watch for the gal that can enroll the most people, but also get them active. So we'll run that all the way till the 30th of this month. And that is going to require a little bit of grit on your guys' behalf. I know a lot of you guys are probably shaking in your boots thinking like, I can't do that. Like, that's so crazy. But clearly you can because you're on this call. You know how to enroll. You've done it before at least one time. And so it's going to require you to work with me. And I intended for that to happen. I intended for that to be the purpose. I'm trying to bring you guys into my fold and to utilize me a whole lot more. And then the second part of the giveaway that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving away $150 of Amazon credit. And that is going to be done on a point system. So for that to happen, I have a Google document, and there's 4 different requirements for it. One is, Jessica, you want to tell what the requirements are? Because Jessica kind of helped me make that document. Do you remember what the requirements were?
Yeah, I think so. So the first one was, how many people did you reach out about the business? How many people did you involve your upline? How many people did you actually enroll? And how many people did you confirm for the Mascara for Beauty Professionals event?
Okay. So that one's going to be a little bit more less intimidating just because it's more on a point system. So if you guys utilize me, if you do a 3-way call with me or your upline and you're able to like get us in on a conversation, that right there is points. So that one's going to be a little bit more subjective. So capitalize on that. Utilize the crap out of that Google document. But again, the first one, the Apple Watch, is going to be way more enrollment based, which is enroll and get the girls active all within a month. So I highly encourage you guys to start jumping on that like tonight, making a list and reaching out to those people. Then I don't know if Jessica mentioned, but there is, well, for the Apple Watch too, I was going to say strategic placement is going to be, I will allow that to count as an enrollment. Does that make sense? Do you guys know what strategic placement is? That basically means that if you are helping a girl on your team and you were able to get the girl to want to sign up and you helped her with that, that can count as an enrollment for you, even though you gave it away to someone else on your team to build up that leadership. Does that make sense? Nod your head maybe. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, awesome. Okay, the first thing I kind of wanted to focus on, because this is a really big struggle for a lot of you guys, is how to cultivate your team. I noticed that a lot of us have team Facebook pages or team groups, and or even just like you might be trying to reach out to your girls and they're not responding. I feel like you need to be able to cultivate just an energy and a vibe that your team wants to like respond to you. So we're going to talk a little bit on how to do that. So today is the first of the month, and what I have done personally for a lot of my leaders is I went through and I wrote out, like, let's say Kylie, one of my girls, Kylie, wants to hit top hacker this month, and I brought out my big old whiteboard and I wrote Kylie top hacker, and I wrote out everything that she needs to have happen this month, with that being her $300 in sales. And then I wrote that she also needs to have 2 active legs. And so I drew it out, and then I sent it to her. And I'm like, this is what you need to do for this month. I'm so excited for you. What can I help you with? What do you have in mind for your goals? So that way you're sending her what you have in mind, and then she can give you feedback on like, oh, it's actually kind of a crazy month this week, or it opens up that door of communication. So you guys, if you have even just one person on your team, it is like just so detrimental that you do that with everyone, that you map out the beginning of the month what needs to happen. You send them a text, or you get them on Voxer, or better yet, get them on a phone call and be like, hey, it's November 1st. Are you ready for this? This is what I have for you, and this is what I'm thinking. And it is going to be a little time consuming, because I know there's some of you on here that have like anywhere between 10 and 20 people on your first line, and that can be like a total like chaos, but you can totally utilize me. I am more than happy to help you do that and map your girls out, but you've got to get them mapped out to figure out what it's going to take for them to rank advance. And if you're not doing that, that's going to really explain why you've been stagnant, is because you haven't been involved in explaining to them. Because sometimes you'll be like, oh my gosh, Camille, you're so close to ambassador or whatever. And it's like, and Camille's like, yeah, that's so cool. And she's like, what the heck? I don't even know, like, what is ambassador? How do I get there? So I'm not saying that for real, Camille, if you're on the call, but I'm just saying that sometimes that happens where you get really excited and you tell your girl, like, you're so close. And you think that that's you, like, nurturing them, and that's not, because you really need to open up the door for them to tell you yes or no, or like, do they really understand what top hacker is and whatnot. So phone calls, Voxers, writing down their goals. So then when you do a phone call with them, you write down in a special notebook their goals. What do they have in mind for November? That is part of your job as their upline, is to nurture them in that way, and to have like a little sacred book for that. And then, so that is for your first line girls. But I'll be honest, a lot of you guys know this about me, that my first line is kind of staggered. And so I absorb a lot of you second line people, and I'm happy to do so. I love it. I'm so like grateful for it. So what that means though, is that I want you guys to take that it doesn't matter how far away someone is from you. If you feel like someone's getting left behind somewhere on your team, go ahead and reach out to them, because you never know if that person on your second or third line needs that nurturing, or maybe that you just speak to them better than their actual leader, whatever. But I really would encourage you to go in your back office, look at your downline, and just designate a time. Text them and be like, hey, can we talk tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.? I have some time. And send that out to as many girls as you can, especially those ones that you think that maybe they're getting left behind, that maybe they don't have an active upline. And then I was going to talk about this because a lot of you guys are nervous about just leading in general, and you're like, I don't even know, like you're just top hacker and you're not sure what you're doing, and you don't even know like how to map out someone else's success. Well, one, you definitely should get the PDF that of the whole entire comp plan. I always have that open on a separate tab next to my back office. That way I can go through and be like, okay, what does Marley need to rank advance this month? So then Marley needs to be elite ambassador. So I pull up that tab and I'm able to map it out that way. I hope that makes sense. But that's like a really nifty tip right there. And then I was gonna say, if you're feeling lost as a leader and you're kind of like, what do I do? I'm gonna tell you what to do. You gotta fake it. You absolutely have to fake it till you make it. And that applies to all of you guys that are still maybe feeling timid, like you don't have your footing or whatnot. But you guys, just any time that there is a leader out there of any sort, it's like they went up there shaking in their boots. Like I'm still shaking in my boots. Like I don't know what I'm talking about all the time, but you've just got to own it, and you've got to act like you've been doing it longer than the girl that signed up underneath you, even if you guys signed up the same day. You know what I mean? So I've got to like really hit that home for you guys, because I know that there are some timid leaders on here and you're just like, I don't really know. Like, how do you know what to do? And it's like, you just have to own it. And sometimes that means making a mistake. Sometimes that means giving your girls the wrong information, but you learn about it together. That's like the big bulk of it, is you've got to just own it. You've got to act like you've been doing this business probably a year longer than your downline, even though you haven't been. But that's what it takes for you guys as my leaders to really actually become like strong. So do we have any questions? I mean, I know that I'm putting you guys all on the spot and this is like a giant FaceTime call, but do we have any questions or concerns thus far with like how you've been feeling getting your footing? So you've enrolled a girl, now what? Like any things like that you guys would like to address or talk about, and then that way my other girls on here can all mastermind a little bit. We're good? Okay. I'm going to have Jessica Perez talk about team culture and what that's like and how you can really get a tribe of women, because you guys all do have a tribe, whether you have 3 people on your team or 35. But the importance of having those women is having them being engaged and feeling like they have a tribe. And that's what your job as your leader is to do, is to get them to feel that way. So Jessica, will you talk a hot second about those points that you had sent me earlier today?
Yeah, I'll keep it really short. But it's funny that you mentioned that you text people and you think you're nurturing them by being like, oh my gosh, we're so close and this is so exciting and we're going to do this. Because that's how I work, and so that's how I feel like everybody else should work too. But I learned pretty quickly that people don't respond to that hardly ever. Like, they never do. And so I've learned, so in any business that you're in, there's customers everywhere you are. You're either an internal customer or an external customer. We obviously have a lot of customers that we sell makeup to, but any artist on your team is an internal customer, and you really have to know, like, if we're going to sell makeup to somebody, and you would cater to what they needed, and you have to do that with artists on your team as well. This really is a relationship business, and I feel like when you know the people on your team really, really well, like what's going on in their lives, then they're going to be much more open to talking to you about goals in general anyway. And you have to know, like, kind of how to reach out to them. Like, I have girls on my team that they love having, they love talking all day long about everything in their lives, and that keeps them motivated and going in mascara. Like, there's a direct translation. I have other girls that want a 10-minute phone call, pound it all out, and get it done. There's some girls that they're up when I'm up really early in the morning, and that's when they want to scheme before they go to work. So like it's nice knowing everybody's little caveats and how to reach them, because then you really can get really, really far with those people, and they're my strongest leaders. So I feel like you really have to know people in order to allow you to help them or to be involved in the process. And I feel like when you have more than one person involved in the process, you're going to get so much further. The second point I wanted to touch on was not to jump on them with advice. It's just like when you're recruiting somebody, you can't go to them and be like, you need to join. Like, you need to do this. You need to do this, because people are like, don't tell me what to do. And I feel like the same is true when you're coaching people. If you're like, okay, you're going to hit this rank and you need to do this and this and this. And they'll be like, I don't have time to do that crap. But like you said, when you ask them questions about, like, okay, what do you have time for this month? What are you looking at? What do you want to do this month? And they're like, oh, I want to do this, and I have about this much time. You're like, great. With this much time, we can get this and this and this done. Does that sound good to you? And that really works. So that is a way to be pulley, where you pull them in to hitting a lot of goals instead of being pushy, just like when you're recruiting people. Like, it never ends. It never ends. Always, it's the same thing. The third thing is praise. So I've had artists on my team that have been here for months, and they're just barely hitting elite because they've, we all have those people, and it's fine. That's just what they do. But I found that when I praise them, even like if they have any little bit, like if they're consistent in posting on their page, and I praise them for being consistent on that, they thrive on it. I think that they see that they're not getting shout outs, on Facebook every month for rank advancements, and they were like, well, what does it matter? But if they get praised for just being consistent, because that's where they put in all their hard work, they really, really appreciate that. So if you can find the positive things that everybody is doing and recognize it, I think it goes really far. And then a really, I mean, we're in direct sales. It gets really cheesy sometimes. Everybody gets cheesy at some point or another. But probably the cheesiest thing that I ever tell my people is once my leaders start building a team, they're like, Jessica, when do I like break off and have my own Facebook group? Or when do I start my own stuff? I'm like, if you build it, they will come. It's because this is a field of dreams and we are super cheesy. So that's what I always tell them. And so if you act like you are a boss of a huge team, you're going to start making decisions like you are a boss of a huge team. And then you'll start having a huge team. So that's what Jackie was saying. You fake it till you make it. So you act like you have a big team and you do all those things. You have team calls with them. You ask them for their goals, even if there's just 2 or 3. And you really nurture them and it will grow. You'll see it grow. And then the last thing is I was guilty of this when I first got started and I was scared to do anything. I listened to self-development books like it was going out of style, and it really helped me get me out of my shell. And then once I kind of got some momentum, I'm like, okay, I'm good. And I totally spaced it and I didn't listen to self-development for probably a month. And then I felt guilty about it, so I went back to doing it, and it was crazy because that whole next week, anytime I was talking to somebody on my team, there was something that was applicable that I had learned. And because we have so many books that are available to us, there's so many different pieces of advice that are applicable to the different personality types on your teams. So I was able to say, oh, well, I heard this in this book. So you add so much value to your team when you are developing yourself and investing time into education. And I loved what Kara said months ago when she said that this business is not an investment of time. It's not an investment of money to get where you want to go. It's an investment of time. And I feel like self-development is an awesome investment of time. And you really can add a lot of value to your team.
Right.
That's it.
Thanks, Jess. You're awesome. Okay, you guys, do any of you guys have questions thus far? Like if you're thinking of your team and how you're leading them right now and you're like, maybe I'm kind of slacking. Maybe I could do better in this aspect. Does anyone want to like bring up anything that you want to troubleshoot with or things that you have questions on in regards to leading your team? Probably not because I'm putting you all on the spot. But if you do, seriously interject because we've got a lot of awesome leaders on here right now. Okay, next I wanted to let Chelsea kind of handle a little bit of how she motivates her girls to hit their numbers or just hit active for the month or hit their next sales bracket and what she does and how that like totally changes her numbers. Because I can promise you this much, Chelsea has the most active team on my whole entire team. Like she is able to fill up those zeros to just being everyone's active. So I'd like you to kind of tell my team, Chelsea, or the team, how you do that and why that works.
First off, I want to say, Jessica, I'm going to have to watch the replay because there are so amazing points that you said that really resonated with me. I love personal development. If you guys are not reading personal development book, that is so awesome. I've actually kind of slacked, so thank you for the reminder. I appreciate that. And yeah, good job. Love, great pointers from her. I hope you guys are taking notes. And you're going to need a notebook and pen for what I'm about to tell you, or make sure to watch the replay because there is kind of some things you need to write down so you can kind of understand how I crunch numbers for my team. And we do get a lot of the girls active. And I don't even know where I'm looking. I'm like looking at Jackie. So sorry if I'm like,
I'm
off to the side. Where do I look? Anyways, so what I do is at the first of the month, obviously, like Jessica kind of pointed out, is we do need to know what their goals are. So if you can kind of go off where their goals are, then you can push them accordingly. So you don't necessarily want them to meet the goal if it's too small. You want them to push. So for instance, you kind of want to go off the price points, you guys, of the commission bracket, okay? So do you want to make, this can go, if they don't know really their goals, you can ask, do you want to make $100? Do you want to make $240? Do you want to make $700? Do you want to make $1,600? What do you want to make this month? And most of them, I mean, you're going to see, I mean, a lot of them obviously would love the 1,600, but if they make it realistic off kind of their consistency with what they're doing, you can push them up to the next sales bracket. Okay, so for instance, you guys know $400 in sales is going to give them $100. $400 is also going to get them active. So you don't want them to be any less than that. If they say they want to be active, then you tell them, then let's shoot for the 400 sales bracket. Okay. So they're going to make $100 on the $400 sales bracket. So once there's like a week left in the month, I always go over everybody's numbers. Every single person on my team I have 5 levels. I go to level 5 and I write down every single person's number and I put their numbers to the next sales bracket. So no matter how far or how close they are, I give them their numbers to the next sales bracket. I had someone who was $1,100 from the next sales bracket, you guys, and she hit it because I crunched the numbers for her and showed her the difference on how much more money she was going to make, and she did it. Like, she totally rocked it and did it. Now, some people are like $11 off, right, from the next sales bracket, but their check goes up like $55. So if you show them, so what I do, I'll write down, hey, congrats, thanks, you're so awesome. Thanks for your engagement in the team page. I just wanted to shout you out and say good job on being active. You are currently at 462 for your sales volume. That's going to get you X amount of dollars, right? If you hit the $800 mark in your SV, you're going to make $240. There's the difference. So this is what you're going to make now. This is what you'll make if you hit the $800. This is how much more you need to sell. I break it down to this is how much you need to sell. That's 2 hack packs or whatever the case may be. I break it down. So to make it easier, if you have 80 people you're messaging, you're going to make it like, I make like a template that says, you're currently at, and then I leave that blank. So I'm only filling in their numbers. So I'm not typing out a bunch of stuff. So you can copy and paste it into their, obviously your first part of it, you guys, is going to be very personal. And, according to them or what's going on in their life, make sure you kind of validate whatever's going on and then just copy and then paste all their numbers through. And I'll tell you what, people hit those numbers. They hit them. So it's amazing on getting girls active, hitting the next sales bracket, which is like giving them more money on their paycheck.
Chelsea, what's the math? What's the actual math?
It's super simple, right? So you just do the percent. Okay, so I don't have any numbers currently because I just did everybody's numbers. But let's say someone was at $382, right? What's the commissions on that? We're still at the 20% commission bracket. Okay, so you're going to times the 382 by 20%. How far are they from the 400 commission bracket? $18. So you say, if you sell $18 more, you're going to make $100 versus 77 or whatever it was. Okay. So then I say, that's a $25 difference. And they're like, heck yeah, I want 25 more bucks. All I have to do is sell 18 more. So that's all you do. You just do it by the commission bracket. So you times what they're going to make, how much more they need to sell, times it by the next commission bracket, which is easy. I always just go off the 100, 240, 700, 1600.
Got it.
I just always say, if you make it to the $400 bracket, it's $100. This is the difference. So that's the actual math. Super, super simple to do for your teams. It just helps everybody. It's not for me, it's for them. I want them to make the most of their month.
Right. I love it, Chelsea. Okay, so you guys, this is totally applicable. I know there's some of you guys on this call that don't have huge teams, but still, getting in the practice of doing this, and like, honestly, I feel like those of you who have smaller teams are truly really lucky because you get to learn what it's like to like really nurture those people more one-on-one. And then that will just translate to being like very, very successful, like as your team does grow. Because I mean, in the beginning, I just had Lacey and Chelsea, and like they were just the people that I knew how to talk to, and we got really good at talking, and I just feel like that's translated into everything else because I got to practice on them. So please treat your one girl or your 2 girls as if like, you're writing everything on them. Like that, it's so important that you like stay connected to them. Don't just forget about them. And then I was going to talk a little bit about just strategic placement. Are you guys all cool with that? That we could talk about that? Especially because it's come to my attention. So I'll just tell you a quick little backstory. Shay Parker, she's a top seller. She's fabulous, so hilarious. She's from the South. She had a girl hit Elite Ambassador in 6 weeks. And they did that solely off of placing people. So when we talked about the Apple Watch and how I will give one away according to people that you enroll, and also those that you assist in enrolling. So if you work super hard on a girl and you've got a girl below you though that you want to hit top packer, you can hand her off, and that's called strategic placement, because that will help bump you up. So the way that this gal hit Elite Ambassador was because Shay Parker helped her in placing people. You know, you only need 4 people. Is it 4 legs for Elite Ambassador? And so you don't need to, I mean, the goal of mascara is to never stop enrolling. You want a really long first line, but what's also cool is you don't need that right away. What's more cool is for you to assist people in placing them underneath other leaders, and then they can get good at leading, and that builds their confidence too as they are trying to get their footing. So do you guys have questions on how that would work? Does anyone have any hesitations or deciding if someone's ready to take, if someone's ready to take on someone that you assisted them with in enrolling? Or does everyone feel really kosher and understand why that's a really genius idea for ranking?
Can I say something, Jackie?
Please do.
Hey.
Okay, so
Jackie.
I kind of, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I think sometimes you're kind of like, no, this is my enrollee and I want her on my first line. I had that mentality for a long time, and it took me I had to really digest the idea. But like 2 nights ago, I was looking at my team and I'm thinking, okay, to honestly be, you guys, at the highest rank, guess how many active legs you need? At the highest rank, 7. You need 7. So, and obviously we need 7 builders, right? But if we had, let's just say 4 directs, I'm just going to say 4, and we build those 4 directs to be big builders, that's getting you already to Elite Ambassador. So you have to really do think about it differently, because it is it was a challenge for me. I actually just did this today where I enrolled a girl and she's my level 3. She's not going to be my level 1. And I'm like super excited about it because I feel like I'm helping actually out level 2 girl and a level 1 girl. So it's kind of fun, but you do, like Jackie said, you got to map it out. If you map it out, you can really see who's active, look back on who's really active, who's doing it, and then you'll kind of know where to place your people so that sacrifice turns out as a huge reward.
Amen. Emily, what was your question? Speak now.
Okay, I don't even know, like I'm driving, it's like in drive safe mode, but I hope that you can hear me. Can you hear me?
You're good.
Okay, so my question is, I think it's like genius. I love the idea of it, but how do you go about telling this new enrollee that you're not putting her under you and you're going to put her under somebody else?
So that has to be a very tactful conversation. I have one, I'm doing it tonight. I have a girl that's been wanting to enroll forever, but I'm going to give her to another leader. And I just explain how I talk up the other leader. I'm like, look, you have a personality that's going to jam so well with this leader of mine, and I'm still going to take care of you. I take care of everyone on my team. We will have just so much contact, but I just feel like your personality will do so well with this gal. She has X, Y, and Z strengths, and that will be so awesome to partner you 2 up together. So you're still gonna be on my team. It's so amazing, so excited. Here's her enrollee, or here's her number. You don't really make it so much of a, like a really awkward thing. You're just like, oh, it'll be so cool. This is gonna be awesome for you. And it's because you guys, there's other direct sales companies where this is not even an issue. Like it's just like it's a given that there's strategic placement, and just don't make it weird. Just be like, yeah, okay, perfect. I'm actually gonna pair you up with this girl, and it's gonna be just fine. Does that sound good? What up, Jess?
Well, what I was going to say is if anybody is hesitant to it, but it sounds like everybody is on board. Because I know I personally was very, very against it because I felt like it was cheating. And then I thought, but if I'm going to recruit someone, they say you go wide. Go wide. Why would you do that?
Which you do want to, like at the end of the day, but
something you said the other day that like totally like, I was already on board, but then when you said that, I'm like, oh, yeah, like this is genius. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but Jackie's, maybe I'm not allowed to say because it would put you on the spot, but Jackie's end goal is to have 100 strong leaders, like 10 years down the road. She wants to have 100 strong leaders. Now you have to do it. But I was thinking, and I thought that's so smart because it really changed my mindset that we're in this for the long haul. So I can take this next year and build me enough little legs to get me up to the top. And then I've got like 4 more years where I can go wider and deeper to anyway. So I think that this fits. Sorry, everybody decided to come in and like literally everybody. I'm done. I don't even know what I was saying.
No, I like it. It's good. The point is, you guys, we ain't no dummies. Strategic placement is where it's at, and especially for all you guys on this call, I want you to think long and hard about it. Include me or your upline on how that's going to work, because some of us are just stuck at our rank, and it's because your girls are stuck, and it's okay to help them out. We don't want to enable. We're avoiding enabling because we don't want it to be expected, but that is where it's going to happen. So again, let's review November's incentive. An Apple Watch for the person with the most enrollments who convert those enrollments to being active. So it's going to require some legwork, people, some serious freaking legwork. And then for the $150 Amazon gift card, you guys are going to need to work on this Google Doc form. And I'm going to probably create a text message thread or something like that, maybe just on Messenger, I don't know. And I'll be able to send that to you guys. And I mean, I expect my phone to be ringing all day tomorrow because I want you guys calling me and strategizing how you're going to get your hands on either the Apple Watch or the gift card, because that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. This is going to be a busy month, but it's going to be awesome because it's a holiday month. It's going to be wild. And also, we got to wrap this up. I have 7 minutes, but yeah. Any other questions? People, where are you at with your teams? What are you feeling like you're lacking in? Again, I'm not here just to talk your ear off. I want all you guys to like maybe talk about what has and hasn't worked. Come on. Carly, I have nothing even from Carly. Come on. Wow.
Okay, fine. I'm just here at soccer practice, so I'm trying not to like talk because it's so loud. But I mean, we talked this afternoon, but I'm struggling to get my first line and even my leaders to like really be motivated and to start to replicate some of the things that I do to lead them and see themselves as leaders. So I think they kind of still rely on me instead of like taking it on their own. And I did stack a girl last month, and whatever term you use, I strategically placed a girl so that I could hit my next rank, and it still fell short. So it was like, so I'm just having a hard time getting those girls to really motivate other people under them.
I don't want to get the answer, so someone else chime in with what has worked for them. No one wants to help Carly? Come on, you guys. She's in a tough spot. She's got a team. Carly's got a pretty big team, but they're just kind of stuck. Do you guys have any advice for how she could get them moving? Like, do they need more personal development? What would be like, what do you think would be a way to get them motivated? Oh my gosh, don't make me call on someone. Marley. Marley says no. You're hilarious. Okay, well, I think for one,
I can read what that guy says. The Bob guy, is that his name?
Bob Heilig?
Whatever. He says, this is what he says, is that when your teammates don't do, like they have to qualify to be on your team. So if they're not doing what you tell them to do, you give them a homework assignment, and if they don't do it, then you move on because you have to protect your time. So if you legitimately are giving people good advice and they're just not taking it or they're not following through, then you need to maybe find somebody else. But he also said that before you give your Braveheart speech and to like really motivate people, you need to show them how it's done. So that works better than some big grand speech to motivate somebody. You just really show them. Like by you rank advancing and showing them that the process works, then that's more motivating usually. That's what he said.
I like it. I like it a lot. Any other concerns, you guys, before we wrap this up? We're all good. Everyone's happy to chug along this month. Erica, Vanessa, Lacey, Krista. Nothing? You guys are all awesome. Okay, Krista. All right, well, I'm gonna save this, and if you guys have some top leaders on your team that are like approaching ambassador or top hacker and you feel like they have a couple girls on our team, please share this video with them. I don't want this getting out to the whole entire team because this is strictly for my builders that I want to offer this incentive for November. But are you guys excited at all? I mean, like maybe you guys could clap or something, do a little dance. Like I thought Apple Watch was pretty cool. Okay, well, we're gonna wrap this up then. And again, you guys, I am gonna be at the hospital all day tomorrow, super bored for 6 hours. So please text me, call me, strategize with me, mastermind with me. I really want this to be a busy month for us. Not an overwhelming month, but a busy month. Okay, we are out. That is that, people. Thanks for coming.